Hello students, this video is in continuation with my previous video on general account of order Funariales. And in this video, I am going to share with you detailed account of genus Funaria. So let's start the topic. Students, Funaria is the type genus of Funariaceae comprising the codmoses. That is the common name of the plants included in this family and being characterized by filamentous setae as you can see in this image. A pyriform capsule means a pear-shaped capsule and double peristome of 16 teeth each. Funaria is commonly called codmos and it is distributed throughout the world. Funaria hygrometrica is the common species of the genus. It grows in closed tuff on rocks, trunks of trees, damp balls and damp soils. They help in the process of soil formation that is called as pedogenesis. And the mature plant comprises two phases, gametophytic phase and the sporophytic phase. Gametophytic phase further comprises of two stages, that is juvenile stage and the leafy gametophore. So students, you can see both of these stages in this diagram. Let's know more about juvenile stage. It results from the germination of the meiospores which are dispersed from the mature capsule and consist of slender green branching system of filaments called protonema. So students, juvenile stage is represented by the protonema which originate from the spores, and the protonema further have two branches, that is chloronemal branch and the rhizodial branch. Chloronemal branch is the green branch spread over the moist soil which perform the photosynthesis, and the rhizoidal branch whose main function is anchorage and the absorption of the nutrients. It is colorless brown branches with oblique septa and help to penetrate the soil. So in this image you can see germinating spores which give rise to two branches, underground rhizoidal branches and the upground chloronemal branches, which further make protonema, and then protonema develop into mature or gametophore stage. In this image you can see the young Funaria plant. Students, rhizoids are colorless when young, but at maturity they become brown colored. Rhizoid, if present on the exposed axis, develop chlorophyll. Means when they are above the ground, they develop chlorophyll to perform photosynthesis. So the function of rhizoids are both absorption, fixation and sometimes photosynthesis. Stem or axis is slender, erect, branched or unbranched and covered by the leaves. Apical tuft of leaves are arranged on the axis spirally in 3 by 8 type of phyllotaxy. So students, arrangement of leaves on the stem is called as phyllotaxy, and there is different type of arrangement. Here in case of Funaria, their arrangement is 3 by 8. So you can see rhizoids are the basal structure above which stem is there and that is covered by the leaves. Next is gametophore stage. Gametophore is the dominant stage in the life cycle. It is erect leafy structure that reaches up to 3 cm height. It has slender cylindrical upright central axis known as colloid, on which the flat green lateral expansion phylloids are present. Colloid and phylloids are structurally not similar to stem and leaves because they are without vascular tissues and gametophytic in origin. Unlike the higher plants where stem and branches they have vascular tissue in them and they are sporophytic in nature. So let's understand external feature of gametophore in detail. Students, the dominant plant body of Funaria is a gametophyte. It is small, 1 to 3 cm height and consists of slender, erect radial stem covered with small, simple leaf-like structure arranged in a spiral manner. The gametophore is attached to the substratum by means of multicellular rhizoids. They are characterized by presence of oblique septa. The leaves are simple, sessile, ovate and have broad membranous base and pointed apex. So you can see here mature gametophore and its external feature. And you can see that branched rhizoids are there with oblique septa and bearing upright stem covered with the leaves. And you know very well, leaves are of three types, as I explained to you in my previous video, that they are of scaly leaves, foliose leaves and perichetal leaves. As their name indicate, the scaly leaves are lower few small leaves which are membranous. That's why we call them scaly leaves, and their main function is protection. Then is foliose leaves. These are middle larger leaves and their main function is photosynthesis. Then the perichetal leaves which surrounded the male and female young sex organs, and their main function is protection of these sex organs. Next is internal structure. First is TS of stem. A well-defined midrib is present. It consists of several layers of cell, but the lateral wings or lamina is made up of single layer of thin-walled cell which are rich in chloroplast. As you can see in this image, there is prominent midrib and wings. They consist of chloroplast. Midrib contains small strand of slightly thickened narrow cells which help in conduction. Next is internal structure of stem. Stem consists of epidermis. It is outermost single layered and its main function is protection. It is made up of thick walled cell. Then is cortex. It is multi-layered as you can see in this image. Zone situated just below the epidermis and consists of parenchymatous cells. Then is cortical central cylinder as you can see in this image. Central cylinder, it forms the central core of the axis and consists of vertically elongated thin walled cell. The center cylinder provide mechanical strength to the plant and help in conduction of water and mineral. So students, there are three zones: epidermis which are represented by green colored cell, then is cortex that is multi-layered, and the central strand which perform the function of conduction, and it is represented by the red colored cells. Next is reproduction. Here both vegetative and sexual reproduction takes place in Funaria, and the vegetative reproduction takes place by fragmentation, secondary protonema, gamete, bulbils and by apospory. So these are the common method of vegetative reproduction, while the sexual reproduction takes place by involving syngamy and meiosis. And you see male branch and female branch are present on the same plant, producing antherium and archegonium, finally producing anthazoids and egg. So let's understand these in detail. First is vegetative reproduction. Fragmentation of the primary protonema may lead to development of the new plant. Formation of secondary protonema from any part of the gametophyte. Usually primary protonema develop from the spore, but the secondary protonema develop from any part of the gametophyte. Formation of the gamete on terminal cells of the protonema. You know very well, gamete are the structure which help in the vegetative propagation. Then there is also development of bulbils on the rhizoids, which are thickening growth on the rhizoids and they help in the further regeneration. So you can see vegetative reproduction by these methods. First is gamete, and you see gamete they develop from protonema and lead to formation of mature plant. Then there is bulbils which arises on the rhizoid and lead to formation of new mature gametophyte. Apospory, as name indicate, away from spore formation. Here mature gametophyte develop from either protonema or injured sporophyte without spore formation. Next is fragmentation. Here you can see primary protonema sometime undergo fragmentation, producing more than one mature gametophore. Then is secondary protonema. Sometime secondary protonema develop from either injured leaf or from the injured axis, not like primary protonema which develop from the spore. This secondary protonema which develop from injured leaves or injured stem then give rise to mature gametophore. So these are the 5 methods of vegetative reproduction, that is either by fragmentation of primary protonema or by secondary protonema, by gamete formation, by bulbils or by apospory. Next is sexual reproduction. Funaria is monoecious, autoecious and protoandrous. Means here male and female branch develop on the single plant and antheridium mature earlier than the archegonia. Sex organs are developed in groups at the apex of the stem, and male branch usually develop at the apex while the female branch develop on the lateral branches. The male sex organs are called as antheridia and female are called as archegonia. The internal female branch eventually grows taller than the male branch. So students, you can see in these images, on single plant both male branch and female branch arises. Male branch usually grows at the apex while the female branch grow on the lateral branches. And at maturity you will see antheridia, they are surrounded by the perigonial leaves which help in the protection, and interdispersed are the paraphyses which are the sterile branches. While in case of female you will see perichetal leaves are there which help in the protection. Interdispersed are the paraphyses which also play important role in protection. So let's understand these in detail. Funaria is monoecious, that is male and female reproductive sex organs are born on the different branches of the same gametophyte. Male sex organ is antheridium and it is formed in the group on the antheridial branch. They are enclosed by special leaves called perigonial leaves. A large number of long multicellular hair interspread with antheridia called paraphyses are also present. They contain chloroplast and are involved in photosynthesis. They protect the antheridial head by minimizing the transpiration, hold water between them through capillary action, and secrete mucilase which help in the liberation of the anthrazoid. So the paraphyses, they help in the protection, they avoid transpiration and they help in the dispersal of the anthrazoids. Each antheridium is protected by a single layer of jacket. It encloses a large mass of androcytes. Androcytes transform into biflagellate anthrazoids. So you can see the structure of a mature antheridium in this slide, and it consists of jacket, androgonial cells as well as stalk, and at maturity it liberates biflagellated highly coiled anthrazoid. So students, the mature antheridium of Funaria may be 0.25 mm in length. It has an elongated club-shaped or orange-colored body raised on a short multicellular stalk. The body has a jacket layer of polyhedral flattened cell. With an antheridial wall is a dense mass of small cells. They are known as androcytes. Each androcyte produces a single biflagellated sperm. Next is female branch. The archegonial branch springs from the base of the male shoot. The archegonia are aggregated into a terminal cluster, stand erect and project from the surface of female receptacle. The leaves surrounding the archegonia cluster are called perichetal leaves. You can see here, perichetal leaves help in protection, paraphysis, archegonia and axis which is called as receptacle. And a mature archegonium consists of cover cell, neck canal cell, Benter canal cell and egg. The archegonia are typically flask-shaped, each consisting of two usual parts, the Benter and the neck, as you can see in this image. The archegonium is borne on a distinct multicellular stalk which is long and massive. The Benter consists of a double layer of sterile cell. In it, the egg cell below and the ventral cell above it. The long, tubular, slightly twisted neck consists of 6 rows of neck cells. So students, here is the mature archegonium and it is divided into two parts, Benter and neck. Benter has egg and Benter canal cell, while the neck consists of cover cells and neck canal cells. So let's understand about female sex organs in little bit more detail. The female sex organs are the archegonia and are born in cluster on the archegonial branch. Archegonial branches arises laterally at the base of male branch. They are surrounded by the pericytal leaves. Paraphyses, which are sterile in nature, are also present. Each archegonium is flask-shaped and is distinguished into a large venter and a long neck region. The venter contains venter canal cell and egg. The neck consists neck canal cells. Water is essential for fertilization. Raindrops help in the transfer of anthrazoid from antheridial head to archegonial head. The anthrazoids are attracted to the archegonium through chemotaxis. That is why chemical secretion in the form of mucilage. A large number of anthrazoids enter the neck of the archegonium, but only one fuses with the egg to form a diploid zygote. The diploid zygote represents the first cell of sporophytic generation and divide to form a sporophyte. So students, you can understand this by this slide. Rain or dew drops usually surrounded in antheridial and archegonial cluster help in fertilization. As you know, water is essential for fertilization in case of bryophytes. That's why we call them amphibians of the plant kingdom. The transfer of anthrazoid from the antheridial head to the archegonial head is brought about by the raindrops. Entry of anthrazoid into archegonium is due to chemotactile influence of the mucilaginous substance present in the neck. And in this image you can see that mucilaginous substances are secreted by the female, which help in the attraction and attachment of the anthrazoids. Next is sporophytic phase. The diploid zygote formed by the fusion of the anthrazoid with the egg is the first cell of the sporophytic generation. The zygote soon secrete a wall around itself and increase in size before dividing. The mature sporophyte of Funaria is differentiated into foot, setae and capsule, as you can see in this image. So you can see that mature sporophyte has three parts: foot, seta and capsule. Foot is small dagger-shaped conical structure embedded in the archegonial branch, because sporophyte is the structure formed by the division of the zygote and it develop on the female branch. Then is seta. It is long, slender, more or less twisted and stalk-like structure which support the capsule. Capsule, it is slightly oblique, erect, green when young but become bright orange and curved at maturity. Further is divided into three parts: apophysis, theca region and apical region. So you can see that apophysis is the basal sterile portion and its main function is photosynthesis. Then the middle portion is theca and it is fertile in nature because it leads to formation of spores, which are the means of regeneration. Then the apical portion, which comprises of the operculum and peristomial teeth, annulus etc., which help in the dispersal of the spores. The theca portion is much differentiated in case of Funaria. As you can see, middle portion is the columella, which have parenchyma cells. Then it is surrounded by the spore sac. Spore sac consists of spores and there is lacunae and trabeculae. So the capsule in case of Funaria is much differentiated. So let's understand the structure of sporophyte in detail. Students, the structure of mature sporophyte of Funaria is complex unlike earlier genera. The sporophyte is differentiated into foot, seta and capsule. As I explained to you earlier, the foot is small, conical and is embedded in the gametophyte. The seta is long, slender and conduct water and nutrients to the capsule. Capsule is differentiated into apophysis, theca proper and operculum. The cell constituting balls of the capsule contain chloroplast in them. The apophysis is the lowermost sterile region and connects the capsule with setae. The epidermis contains stomata which help in the exchange of gases, because capsule also perform photosynthesis. The cell of the apophysis are photosynthetic, hence the sporophyte of Funaria partially dependent on the gametophyte. The thicker region is the middle fertile part and is fertile region of the capsule. It consists of central columella surrounded by the spore sac. Spore sac is surrounded by a single cylindrical air sac traversed by a delicate filament made up of parenchyma cell called trabeculae. The trabeculae extend from the outer wall of the spore sac to the innermost layer of the capsule wall. The spore sac contains spore mother cell which undergo meiotic division to produce haploid spores. The apical region consists of operculum and peristome which help in the dispersal of the spore. The operculum is the lid of the capsule and comes out as a circular cup-shaped lid after the descent of the capsule, as you can see in these images. The peristome has one or two rows of thickened tooth-like projection found on the top of the capsule. They are hygroscopic and help in the dispersal of spore. During favorable condition, the spore germinate to produce thread-like green branch structure called protonema. It produces rhizoids and number of lateral buds which develop into new plant. In the life cycle of Funaria, the haploid gametophytic phase alternate with the diploid sporophytic phase and show alternation of generation. Students, let's understand spore dispersal in detail. As the sporophyte mature, the water supply of the capsule is cut off. As a result, all tissues of the capsule except spore dry up. The thin walled cells of the annulus break and the operculum is thrown away, as you can see in this image. The outer peristomial teeth are hygroscopic and in dry atmosphere they bend outward with jerky movement, but the inner peristomial teeth remain in their position. Due to outward movement of outer peristomial teeth, slit between the inner thin called peristomial teeth become wider and spore escape through these slit gradually. So this is the spore dispersal mechanism where peristomial teeth play important role. And you can see that there is two row of peristomial teeth, outer and inner, and the spore disperse through these peristomial teeth by jerks. In these images, you can see spore dispersal mechanism by throwing away the operculum or the lid and germination of spore after attaining the favorable space. In this image, you can see that operculum is thrown away like a lid, and then the spore, after getting favorable condition, germinate to form a rhizoidal branch or chloronemal branch and ultimately mature gametophyte. So students, that's all about the detailed account of funerales and funaria. I hope you understood the topic. Thank you for listening.